Hey, welcome to the one more episode of Culture Digger, and right now we're already starting. Today we are discussing one cultural phenomena from the 20th century. I'm talking about hat wearing, and today we discuss the age when men had to wear hat, what it was, how did it finish, and can the history repeat it again? And for the beginning, I would like to remind that Culture Digger is the podcast about cultural phenomena, architecture and design, decade reviews, and too many other interesting stuff. My name is Sandy Riffs, and I would be really glad you to be subscribed in Apple Podcasts or in Twitter or in Podbean, wherever. You're always welcome. And if I understand the situation right now you feel yourself cozy and comfortable sitting in your chair with your newspaper, with classical haircut on your head, with some fireplace in the hall of your house. Wonderful. But where's your hat? Do you have a hat? What? You do not have a hat? You're crazy. How can you leave your house without hat? And that was kind of a reaction that you could get from me if my podcast was broadcasted in the 30s or 20s. Because in that time, every man wore a hat, and that was a rule that was quite right in too many countries and for too many people of any social origin or birthplace. They had to deal with it. That rule was so powerful that you could get a conflict on street with some aggressive people if you didn't wear a hat or cap or something else on your head. But where are the roots of this phenomena? When did it start? While I was looking through some articles about this phenomena, they said that it started in the end of 19th century or in the 19th century. I would like to disagree with this, and I have my own opinion. In my view, it started very many decades ago, because when we look at paintings from medieval age or Renaissance or some another age that was before, we can see people wearing something on their head. And they couldn't do this only with some tradition. They had some reasons, and one of them was a simple reason. It was a need of protection from weather issues like rain, wind, or sun heat in everyday mode. Humanity of that time used horses as the main type of transport, and in case of riding, even in an opened carriage, head still was unprotected. And one more brick in the wall of hat-wearing age was that humans of that time had to make path on foot for a really big distances in everyday mode again. No buses, no cars, no trains, you had nothing. And even in the 19th century, when railway system appeared in many countries, you still had to make your path to the station. And in some cases, a really long way, maybe a few miles or kilometers. And after you did a long way and the distance is behind, you reached some city, then started a game of etiquette, because you used hat as an instrument of greeting or paying respect or being formal in some serious situation. For example, you hear it. The official anthem of the city you entered is playing right now, and all these fearless people standing on the square with their hats in their hands, they're watching at you, and you're doing the same, and you should have your hat in your hands to pay this respect, not being without it. Very important moment. Don't waste your life without your hat. I hope you didn't lose it. I feel relief. Fine. But someone from the wearers thought that you're a pirate with your triangle hat. Why did you choose such a stupid hat for that age? You're gonna die. I don't want this. Stop! You can't go away! You can! You can! Come on, do this! Do this, please! Oh no. That was the end of someone with stupid head in a really rude age. With all this dramatic, I just wanted to say that having the right head was extremely important in some ages before. Today we are free of it, but even if we look through some photos from 20s, 30s, 40s and nearly 50s of the 20th century, you'll see amazing crowd all wearing hats. That looks incredible nowadays. And to make my words complete, I would like to remember the book by Herbert Wells, The War of the Worlds, that was published in 1897. The character of this book was confused because he had a situation where he had to catch a carriage on a road without head. And he didn't know what to do because he understood that everybody on the road will pass him by because he doesn't have it. And if we know exactly that there was an age when everybody wore a hat, we understand that the business of that time had thousands of manufacturers of some hats, caps, etc. Some big companies as C&A or Denton Hats Company survived, but they started another life. Respectable providers of the element of wardrobe number 1 became the providers of accessories. And who do remember the name of the provider of accessories? I understand if we have some brands in our heads for bags or jewelry or bijouteria. Maybe it's only me here thinking so flat, but I can't remember too many brands for hats in nowadays. I remember Kangol caps, New Era caps, C&A because I found firstly this name maybe in English textbook when I was a kid. And that's all. I do not have it in my head. And how all this picture of the world changed? Was it a flash when you could make some sound like this with your finger and all these heads disappeared from the heads of any citizen? Or it was a slower process? We'll figure out right now. So, after reading few articles about the end of head wearing age, links to which I'll provide in the description to this episode, I have few reasons about the end of this phenomena. The reason number 1, popularization of autos. So, as we know, the first cars were really similar to carriages. They could be opened or have a soft top, and that's not a really good option for some bad weather like rain or snow or sun heat. But with 30s and 40s, we got something new. We got such cars that protect you so well with their metal body and hard top. But the main point is still unsaid. When you had to sit into the car, you had to take off your hat. Such simple and powerful. Something new for the etiquette of that time, and citizens began to take it easy. And the reason number 2 became the First and the Second World War that terrified our world in the first half of the 20th century. People got tired of the hats that were part of uniform during the wars, and the veterans that had an opportunity to come back from the wars, they said, okay, I quit, I don't want to wear it anyway, because I do not have to, I had to wear it too many dangerous years, and right now I want to leave it back in my memory. And if the time after the First World War was still loyal enough to wearing hat and marketing strategies of manufacturers of that time made their business and the hat was still in use, after the Second World War, people really didn't like to wear it and they stopped doing it. Of course, the stereotype of successful man that wears hat every day was revolving in culture a few years after the Second World War. The trend began and the fashion got that trend. The haircuts, different haircuts like Elvis had in 50s and many others became one more way to express yourself in the society. So the culture began to get rid of hats, and the John Kennedy was the first American president that didn't wear a hat during his inauguration. And what a coincidence, he was the first American president that was born in the 20th century. Puzzle complete. Welcome back to the century 21. And in nowadays, the tool of being formal and okay became a form of self-expression. Right now, hat is an accessory of fashionable people, of too formal people indeed, of musicians, of anyone who wants or have to care about his image. And what can motivate people to wear hats again? Let's think a little bit. First, personal security. We have too many face recognizing at the streets, and in some cases these cameras are above our heads, so it can save you a little bit if you don't like all these systems and want your face to be covered. The second, self-expression, it already exists, and the reason number 3 will exist if cities will remove all the personal autos or cars from the roads. All these pedestrians-only streets and parking limitations can bring us to the world without cars in big cities. And if the history will make such an ironic turnover and we have to walk on feet more again and use only bicycles or something ecological without roof, we will have to wear hat again. That's the turnover. That's all for today. Many thanks to every listener of Culture Digger podcast. I wait your comment on Twitter. Just tell me, do you wear hat in your daily life? And why do you do it? What do you wear? Fedora or porcupine hat or cap or something? Just tell me your story. Give me your questions. Please subscribe in Twitter, Apple Podcasts, YouTube channel. Many thanks to you, dear listener. Bye.